Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. I have got questions for you. What opens with Madison and Strand and Taka 2 headed to the water station, the water river, the place, oh gosh, what is it called? The place where the killer was, where the dam, headed to the water dam. And what ends with Madison and Strand headed to the dam. Is Taka going with them? If you guys Fear the Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 14, El Matadero. El Matadero. You're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. I am Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Let us proceed. So we got Madison, Strand, and I think it's Taka driving. They inside the water truck, and then outside the water truck is Ophelia and one of the members of the nation. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. And Strand is like, basically, your deal has fallen through. You going to get water, and you don't need the water, and you ain't got the guns to give them. Like, what we doing? What's going on? And Maddie is like, well, we just hope we can get some. We ain't got nothing, so we hope we can get something. And we got Ophelia, and then we see Ophelia and the guy at the back of the truck, and the guy's looking at her, and she looking kind of weird, and he like, you okay? And then she fall off the truck, and he banging on the truck, stop, and they do stop. I don't know how they heard him banging on the truck, but they stop. And they realize that she's been bitten, I guess, and that, she not long for this world in this state of being. And then Ophelia is like to Madison, I want you to take me to my father. You hear me? Give me your word, Madison. And Madison gives her word. Then we see Alicia, and she realizes that she being followed. She done went off on her own because she I don't know what she want, but she went off on her own, and she threatens to shoot. And the threateners, who turn out to be her brother and baby boy Troy. And Alicia's like, you don't owe me or mom. Stop trying to atone. Cart whatever you can out of this life. That's like basically, she have some exchange with her brother, and that's basically what she say. Go for yours, bro. Go for yours. And then we see Taka, and he is getting out of the water truck at the bazaar, and Madison is there, and Victor and Ophelia and the nation member are arriving too. And Madison is like, we got hours before her dad gets here. And Strand is like, they will kill her if they so much as suspect that she's sick. And Madison says to Ophelia, smile, your life depends on it. And then they kind of holding her up at the entrance, and there's kind of like some kind of hold up at the entrance. I guess they trying to get the guns or negotiate the guns or whatever. And we're like, oh my gosh, are they going to find out that Alicia's dead and then kill her, or, that she's been infected? And, but anyway, they don't. And then, we see him in the room, and Taka is like, she's burning up. And Madison is like, I'm going to find something for her pain. And then she gives Taka the knife, and she like, stay woke, Taka. Stay woke. Then we see Strand, and he is following Madison, and he like, look, you gave away half your guns so Ophelia and her daddy can have a goodbye kiss. You got to think about your moves, Madison. And Madison is like, we are out of moves. We got next to nothing. We got next to nothing, and I'm keeping my word. And then Strand is like, you expect charity from the butcher Daniel? He will not offer that. And your word is not important now, just resources. And you keep squandering them. That's the only thing that's important. We'll see what Daniel does when you show up to pay for water you don't need with a dead daughter and empty hands. And then Victorious Strand storms away. And then we see Nick, he talking to Alicia, and he like, come on, it's your last chance. We see Troy getting into the truck, and Alicia is like, I know where you'll be. I'll come get you if I need you. And then Nick is like, I prefer you didn't die. And Alicia's like, I won't. And then they hug, and she's like, I promise. And then Nick gives Alicia the map, and then Nick and Troy drive off, and she smiles. I guess she happy now. Okay, so then in the truck, Nick is like, Alicia's wrong. I stayed at the ranch because my mom was falling apart. You know, not because I felt guilty. And then Troy is like, BS, you stayed because you love me. We are so alike. We the black sheep and we children of violence. Okay, so then we see, we're back at Ophelia's bedside, and Taka is there, and Madison enters, and she's like, I got this for your pain. Plus, this is for electrolytes, and maybe Victor's right, and Daniel will kill us. And then Taka is like, yesterday, I lost everything. My home, my friends, the bones of my ancestors. Ophelia asked to see her father one last time. All you can do is return his daughter to him to bury. Put an end to this, even if it does get us all killed. Then we see Alicia, she driving through a town. She comes to like a burger place, like a fast food restaurant, and the door is open when she tries it, and there's like a dead guy in the booth, and we see a dead walking as she's pulling something off of a shelf, and she eventually sees the dead and she kills him by stabbing him in the head. And then she notices that others are coming. Then she's hiding in like a play escape ball pit type thing with all the multicolored balls. And then Alicia ends up fighting for her life with the dead woman who was in the ball pit. She was dead, but you know, when the people who are alive come around and the dead wake up, they be like, oh, they dormant until they, oh, some food, let me get up. So she's fighting with that person, and then somebody comes into the restaurant after 3 or 7 5 dead people come in, and a person comes in and they kill the dead. Then they cut off some fingers, and then they take a tooth, and then they take the bucket that Alicia had pulled down, and then they drive off. And then we see Nick at the bazaar, and Maddie is sleeping by Ophelia, and he calls to her, Mom, Mom, Mom. And she wakes up. She's like, oh, oh. He's like, you know, Ophelia's just sleeping. It's okay. They told me what's up. And Maddie is like, where's your sister? And Nick is like, we found her. She knows where to find us. Sorry. And Maddie is like, it's okay. Where's Troy? And then Nick is like at the bar. And then Maddie is crying. And then Nick holds her and he's like, it's okay. It's okay. And then Madison is like, thanks for being here. I don't know what I'd do without you. And then Nick is like, you need fresh air. I'll look after Ophelia. And then Nick looks at the drugs. It's like about 5 or 10 pills in a bag. And then he picks up the drugs. And then he takes a pill or two. And then we see Alicia, and she's driving and she's walking in town, and she sees the car from earlier that went off with her bucket, or I don't know how she think it's her bucket, because somebody could think she's taken from them. But anyway, and she sees a dead with missing digits, like some of the fingers are missing, so she know this is the same car, the same person. And then she sees her bucket in the car, and she's reaching into the car for the bucket, and the voice is like, biatch! You touch my stuff, and I'll crack you open like a coconut. And then Alicia turns, and then Alicia pulls her gun, and then Alicia's like, these are my potatoes. And then the woman is like, why are your potatoes in my car? And then Alicia's like, you took them from the restaurant. I got a limited supply, and I'm not about to let them go. Give them back, and I'll be on my way. And all this time, Alicia's holding a gun up to her, and the woman is walking toward Alicia. All she got is like a pickaxe or whatever. And she's like, the woman's walking toward her, Alicia, and her gun. And she like, it sounds like we got a conflict of interest to me. And then Alicia turns, and she points the gun at the gas tank. And the woman is like, well, after you shoot my tank, then what you gonna do? And then Alicia's like, why you gotta make trouble when there isn't any? And she puts the gun down, and she's like, we can share the potatoes. We can share them. I'm tired and hungry, and I don't want to kill you. And then we're in the dining hall of the bazaar, and we see Troy joined by Nick, and we see Nick ordering and drinking tequila, and he looking for uppers. He asking the waitress, you know, where to find the uppers. And he, like, his smooth criminal self is back again. Like, you know, he feeling good. I guess he think he's smooth or whatever. Then we see Victor moving through the shadows, and he's looking in rooms, and then he's trying to open a fence. Then he gets caught, and this man is like, you're in deep doo-doo. And then Victor is like, I want to talk to Proctor John. And the man is like, don't we all? I think it's better if you stay here with us. And then Victor is like, I've got something he wants, something I can give him. He's gonna want to hear this. You know what? I don't know whatever happened with this, because I don't think he comes back up in this episode. So we have to remember that for the next episode. Then we see Ophelia, and she's being woken up by Taka and Madison. Ophelia, honey, it's time. Oh, and Ophelia is like hazy. You know, she dying. She got the infection. And then Madison is like, I think it's best if we go alone. And Taka is like, no. And then Ophelia is like, it's okay, Taka. And then Taka and Ophelia hug. And then Maddie and Ophelia, they're outside and they're waiting. And Ophelia is like, kill me if I turn. I don't want him, my father, Daniel, to see me like this. Tell him that I was really looking forward to getting to know him. And then Maddie is like, you know, kids know their parents. Somehow, even when we try to protect them, you knew your father. And Ophelia is like, thanks. And then Daniel pulls up. And then Ophelia dies. And then Maddie is like, no! And then Daniel is like, where's Ophelia? And Maddie is like, wait, Daniel. And then Daniel is like, Ophelia. And then he sees her, Ophelia. And then he hugs her. And he's like, what kind of sick joke is this? And he pulls the gun. And Madison is like, the ranch was overrun by walkers. She saved us, but she got bit. And Daniel was like, this is the price. He's saying that to God. This is the price for me being a murderer. And then Maddie is like, I'm so sorry. And Daniel was like, get away from us before I kill you. And then Madison walks away, and as she's walking away, we hear the gunshot. Then we see Nick and Troy, and they're walking. And I think we're like in Nick's high. I think Nick is high because it's like a distorted, you know, kind of imagery or view of the world. And then, you know, something is off. I don't know. And Nick asks a guy a question. And then we're in a place. It's like a drug den, I guess. And the guy, you know, he pulls out an assortment of drugs. And Nick is trying to... Troy is trying to talk Nick out, like, come on, let's leave, man, let's leave. You know, this ain't a good place. Shoot, this is a drug den. We got to go. And Nick is in his element. Nick is like, you know, I want to up her. And the man is like, he offers him this thing. And Nick is like, what is it? He like, it's the hunk of the brain stem. It's adrenaline. It's pure adrenaline. It's the best high you can get. It's the best upper you can get. And then Nick takes it. And Troy is like trying to leave. Come on, man, let's go. Then Troy takes a hunk of brain stem, you know, too. So they both getting high together, you know. And then we see Alicia with the woman, you know, the black woman who she had met earlier with the and they're eating the potatoes. And we find out that the woman sells the teeth and the fingers to Mexicans who resell them as bite protection charms. And she offers Alicia a tooth and that's set in a ring. And she like, here, you know, you look like you could use some protection. And Alicia's like looking at it like, this is disgusting. No thanks. And the woman is like, well, where you heading? Where you too good for good luck? You ain't gonna find a way out, not north or south or no ways. And then we see Nick and Troy, and they're high, you know, and Nick is guiding Troy, like explaining to him, you know, how to be high. And we see a group of walkers coming toward him, and Nick kills a dead person or grabs a dead person and rubs their blood all over his face. You know, that's his thing. And then he rubs the blood on Troy's face. He's like, put as much as you can on it. Walk slowly, stare into the space between the atoms. And then Troy is like, Nick. And then the walkers go by Nick. And then Nick is like, I can't go back there. And then Troy hugs Nick. And then we see Maddie in the room, and she's looking at the pills. I think she's like realizing that her son is, you know, back to his other life. And then Daniel comes in, and he's like, you know, I've been walking all night with my daughter. You know, I carried her out. I buried her with my hands. And Maddie is like, she saved Alicia's life. And Daniel was like, Alicia, where is she? And Maddie is like, she left. She's on her own now. And then Daniel was like, you were with Ophelia when she died? Did she say anything? And Maddie is like, to tell you she loved you. She said she was looking forward to getting to know you. I told her she already did. And Daniel was like, she saw me when I brought her to the United States once, and it frightened her. Well, get your things ready, Madison Clark. This is no place for you. And then Madison is like, I'd like to bring the others, if that's all right. And then Daniel nods. And then we see Alicia. She's waking up, and she gets her gun, and she goes outside, and she sees the black woman under the hood of the car. And she's like, I thought you were gone. And the woman is like, I would have been gone if this pile of junk was worth a doggone. And then we see some walkers coming, and she's like, more killing. You know, these teeth ain't gonna pull themselves. That's what the woman is saying. And Alicia's like, you need help? And then the woman is like, I thought we said no friends. And Alicia's like, no friends, just killing. And then we see Nick and Troy walking up to Maddie. And, she says, I'm heading back. And Nick is like, Troy and I were thinking about staying behind a couple of days. It's a good place to have a toehold in, when you need to trade. He basically talking to me, that addict BS, where, what had happened was, and I think it's a good idea if I stay behind and get a toehold in, because then when we trade. And Maddie, I think she knows he's using again. I think she knows. She's like, you do whatever you need to. You know where to find us. And then Maddie walks away from Nick, and then Nick walks away, and then Nick turns back, and then Maddie turns back, but they don't see each other looking. And then Strand walks up, and he's like, you ready? To Maddie. And Maddie is like, yeah, you? And then Strand is like, always. And that's the end. Strand is always ready. Victorious Victor. So thank you so much for tuning in, watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Welcome back. We're working on 200 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, it's not too late. I'm not mad at you. Go on and subscribe now. Be one of the charter subscribers. And I think that's it. I have 2 more shows, Survivor's Remorse and Wags from Sunday. So hopefully I'll be able to get those out tomorrow. But in the meantime and in between time, today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You are number 1. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be